which, well, first of all, maybe good to introduce myself. My name is Stefan Bergsma, and I work for the water technology cluster from the Netherlands called Water Alliance. And today we are organizing this winning days together with my colleagues from France Water Team, the water cluster from France, of course, and Zinai, the water cluster from Aragon, Spain. And you can now see some people in your screen, and they are my colleagues and the co-organizer of today. So then you know where to go to if you want to make contact with them. As you probably also saw in the B2 Match where you registered, is that the winning days this morning, this webinar is a start. And after that, you have the chance to meet each other virtually via the B2 Match platform until the 28th of June. So please also do that. And how to do that, we also have some instructions in the B2 Match, and also at the end of this meeting, we will give you some instructions how to do that. What is also good to say before we start is that the session will be recorded, and we are also planning to send you the slides and the recording after this session. So you don't have to write everything down. You will get it anyway via us. Next slide, please. Here a very brief overview of the program of today. So we have three parts, as you can see. So the first part will be where we will present very briefly 4 European programs which are interesting for, well, organizations active in the water sector and interested in European programs. After that, we have 3 presentations from organizations who have experience in European projects, and they will tell us more about, well, their benefits from these projects, but also what are the obstacles, what are the specialities. So you will hear from experienced EU projects participants. And at the end, we also have 4 pitches from 4 organizations, of course, who are working on project ideas at the moment and which are looking for European international collaboration partners. But before we go to that, I want to give the floor to Francisco Figolondo from Aragon Exterior, which is an organization who supports the region of Aragon in Spain, who will give a very short introduction about what is the added value for European SMEs in regards to European programs. So Francisco, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Stefan. My name is Francisco Vigalondo, and I am representative of Aragon Exterior in Brussels. Aragon Exterior, as maybe several of you knows, is in Spanish agency for the government of Aragon, and the specialization is in internationalization. Most part of my colleagues in Zaragoza help companies to get new markets. And in my case, my mission here is a bit different because I support companies in a previous step is just to open markets through innovation. So this is a bit different because you get new markets when you are very and strongly competitive. So now my colleagues introduce different programs, different opportunities, funding tools that exist in Europe. And maybe also you ask or you are thinking why to participate in these programs, because maybe it's easier to participate in national or in regional calls that also give you money to develop innovation. Well, the response is that even to participate in a European call is more difficult and more complex. This is addressed to companies with the my remark to introduce my colleagues now in the presentation of these funding tools that consider this opportunity that get markets, but also growing your companies, maybe in a startup or maybe SMEs that have good ideas and maybe also after results of applied research to innovate and to get not only new but also more bigger markets. And now I give the floor to my colleagues and introduce these 4 funding tools, LIFE and the Eic Accelerator and the missions in Horizons and Eurostars. 2 of them are addresses to companies for innovate, and 2 of them are more addresses to environmental changes, environmental challenges. And I think in any case, there are a lot of opportunities for companies in the field of water innovation. So the floor is now for us. Thank you very much, and enjoy the winning days and enjoy the following B2B sessions. I hope they will be very fruitful for all of you. Thank you.
Francisco, thank you very much. Can I have the next slide, please, Maria? Yeah, now we will, as Francisco already mentioned, we will go into a little bit more detail about 4 European programs which are interesting for the water sector. The next slide, please. And here we have made an overview of several European programs for this year, which might be of interest for organizations and especially companies working in the water sector. You don't have to write this down because, as mentioned, we will send you these slides after this morning. And well, we will also not go into detail in all the European programs you see on this slide, but we will dive into 4 of them. And the first one is, next slide, please, is the Eurostars program. And Maria Benito from Zinai will tell us a little bit more about this program. So Maria, please, the floor is yours. You are still muted, Maria.
Sorry, I turned on the camera, but not the mic. Sorry. So I said that thank you, Stefan, for the introduction and for just let me know that I have the microphone turned off. So Eurostars is an Eureka score for collaborative and international projects, which can be focused in any technological area with a market-driven approach, which means that the product, service, or process that you develop must reach the market in a short period of time. So you can participate in Eurostars project from anywhere in the world, but if you want to get the funding, you must be based in one of the 37 countries that are under Eurostars program. Most of them are from European Union countries, but this program also includes other countries out of Europe, such as Singapore, Canada, or for example, also South Africa. So if you want to participate in this program, you need to fulfill 7 eligibility criteria. And the most relevant ones regarding the consortium is that the projects must be collaborative. That means that should include at least 2 different participants, 2 independent companies in the project, and must be based in 2 different countries. And one of them should be from a European Union country or a Europe associated country. And the last relevant topic regarding the consortium requirements is that the project must be led by an innovative SME. And what is an innovative SME? They think that, or they define an innovative SME like an SME with the ambition to collaborate in R&D activities to develop new projects, new products, processes, and services that can be rapidly commercialized. So you don't need to proven a track of records of R&D activities. You just need to show in the proposal that you have this ambition to collaborate towards R&D and innovation. So regarding the funding opportunities, of Eurostars funding is decentralized. That means that once you passes the centralized evaluation, each organization will receive the public funding directly from their own country. So every Eurostars country has a funding body that is a ministry or maybe a public agency who is the responsible to manage the funding at the national level. In the case of the organizers countries, in France is the BPA France, in Spain is CDTI, and in the Netherlands is RBO. So that means that European funding can depend on your location, and the changes, and there are relevant changes from one to another country. So each country each country decides the types of organization that are funded, the funding rate that of the support that they provide to you, because this program does not cover all your project costs, and which projects can be funded, which kind of activities are funded through this program. So if you are interested in preparing a proposal for this program, the first step is to contact your national funding body, and they will give you personal advice about your idea and about your proposal. They will answer your question, and they will explain the funding rules in your country. So once you have the project idea, each member should contact to their national contact point in their country. So, and last but not least, the next call deadline for this program is the next 15th of September, and the success rate for this program is for Eurostars is 29th. So this makes this a really good opportunity to collaborate and to establish the relationships with other companies out of your country, and this will facilitate to entry to new markets, and also to establish new relationships and to increase your visibility out of your national level. So thank you that's everything from my side. Thank you for listening, and good luck in case you decide to apply with a proposal to this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. And already I see Jan is asking questions in the chat, so that's also really the purpose. So if you have questions, put them in the chat, and we'll try to answer them during this session, and otherwise after the session. Can I have the next slide, please? Then the next program we want to tell you a little bit about is the LIFE program, and I see Oriane is already here, put her camera on. So Oriane, please, can you introduce us the LIFE program?
Thank you, Stefan. Yeah, so let's talk about the LIFE program. So LIFE is actually a very strategic program for innovative actors that is offering innovative solutions with positive impacts on the environment and climate. So for water actor, it's very strategic. So the LIFE program is the funding instrument of the Commission that is actually aiming at supporting the implementation of a European directive related to the environment and climate, such as the Drinking Water Directive, just to mention one. LIFE has been created in 1992, so it's quite a long-lasting program, and it has been co-financing more than 4,000 projects with positive impacts on environment and climate. And just if we need to mention 3 key points of LIFE projects, there is first the demonstration. So LIFE is funding demonstration projects, meaning that's projects starting at minimum TRL 5-6. And the idea is actually to prove that your solution is working and is having like a positive impact on environment or climate in a real, almost real environment. Another key point is the replication. LIFE projects must have a high potential of replication in Europe, and you should show and be able to explain that you are going to expand and transfer the result of your project widely in Europe and even beyond. And the third key point of a LIFE project is the monitoring and the impact, actually. Because the LIFE program is expecting you to know and clearly explain what is the baseline, what is the challenge that you are targeting. For example, what is the pollutant, the concentration of a pollutant in the water that you want to decrease, what is the current situation, and to what extent your solution will enable a decrease or will improve the situation at the end of the project. So you should quantify the impact of your project clearly and so that you know what is the impact at the end of the project and even a few years after the project. A good news is that the life is pretty open and flexible, notably looking at the type of organization that can apply to the program. So any type of organization is welcome to apply, research organization, but also large group and SMEs, startups. And all of them are funded with the same funding rate, which is 60% of the eligible costs. So quite interesting. Life is also open to all type of consortium, meaning that it's actually possible to apply as individual, even though most of the funded projects are collaborative, but it's not mandatory. Usually what we see is the project funded are between 4 and 6 partners. But yeah, it's possible to apply alone. And it's also good to know that you can also apply with partners from your own country. You don't need to have a transnational project. So that's it. And another interesting point is that there is no rule regarding the duration of the project and the budget, but in average, it is between 2 and 4 years. Projects, and the budget is in average again about 2 million, but it can be also 1 million or like even more. I said already that the funding rate is 60% of the eligible cost, but you can also look for co-financing opportunities at regional level, national level, or there is several, many opportunities of co-financing your projects. The next deadline for the LIFE project, for applying to the LIFE program, is on the 1st of October. So you still have time to actually work on your application, but I would say that it would be great to, I mean, if you are interested, to start working on it right now, because the setting up of a LIFE project is quite long, and so it's better to anticipate as much as possible. So if you're interested, just start working on it right now. That's it for me. Thanks a lot.
So thank you, Oriane. Next slide, please. Then the third program of today is the Eic Accelerator, and I will tell you a little bit more about that. Next slide, please. So this is a program from the European Innovation Council, and as is stated here on the slide, it's really to develop and scale up game-changing breakthrough innovations, which have a huge impact and with a high risk. So that's the most important part of this. And what is also very important and a big difference with a lot of other EU programs is that this program is for individual SMEs and startups. So you don't have to form a consortia. It's really for, well, an individual enterprise, and mainly focused on, let's say, startups and spin-off companies. You can see the TRL level here. So it's not about scientific research. It's really to close to market innovations. And if we look at the grants and what kind of costs are eligible, is that there are 2 different funding streams within the EIC, and that's you can get grants up to 2.5 million, but you can also get equity investments up to 50 million from the EIC. So that's also a big difference with other programs. Well, of course, this is big money, but that also means that it is a very competitive call, and you can also see on the success rate here, the success rate is very low. So this is a very difficult call. So it's not a European call you should start with if you don't have any experience in European programs. But if you are an experienced European project participant and you have, of course, a game-changing innovation, then this is definitely something for you. This is also very open, so you can submit a very basic application at any stage, and then the EIC will come back to you And if they evaluate you positively, they will ask you to submit a full application. If that is also positive, then the last step is that you have to go to a jury, which will hold an interview with you and ask you some questions. So that also already shows that it is a very competitive and difficult program, but of course very rewarding if you are selected. Yeah, then the next deadlines you already see. Tomorrow is one of the cutoff dates for the full applications. That's maybe a little bit too early for you if you now want to start, but well, the good news is that in October there is a next cutoff date, so that's probably a more realistic deadline. Let me see if I forget something about this call. No, this was it for me. So next slide, please, and then we'll go to the last program of today, and that are the European or the missions within the Horizon Europe program. And Oriane again will tell us something about this.
Yes, thank you, Stefan. It's me again. So I will go very quickly on this program because it's very specific, but we still wanted to actually mention so that you know that there is this opportunity. So as Stefan said, Horizon Europe has been launching a new instrument, the missions, that has the overall objective of bringing concrete solutions to tackle our greatest societal challenges. So the Commission has defined 5 key missions, five main missions, of which 2 are directly related to the water challenges. So one is restore our ocean and waters, and the other one is about adaptation to climate change. So those missions, the 5 of them, have like very ambitious goals to be reached by 2030. And to do so, the Commission is launching every year a call for proposal and will select quite large and ambitious projects that will gather public and private actors, such as member state, regional and local authorities, but also could be farmers, water operators, land managers. So it's quite broad. And the consortium will be quite big, actually, and the budget as well. An interesting point is that with the missions, the Commission is really like willing to engage with citizens. So it means that the project funded will need to be to engage and to be connected with citizens in order to boost the societal uptake of new solutions and approaches. If we look just more closely to the water mission, so the Restore Our Ocean and Waters mission, just so that you know that the project will be at basin level, and each basin will be focusing on specific challenges that are relevant based on their actual local challenges. For example, there is for the Mediterranean Sea basin, there is issues with chemical pollution to be tackled, and there is also wastewater-free European rivers. So there are plenty of quite broad challenges that will be tackled by European projects. The deadline for the application is on the 27th of September. It's still, so you still have time to join a consortium. So if you've got any solution that could fit, so have a look at the call and contact also your national contact point or us directly, so that we can support you finding the right consortium to join. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Oriane, again. Next slide, please. So now we arrive to the second part of our webinar, where we will hear 3 presentations, 3 stories of organizations who were active or are still active in European programs, and they will tell you about, let's say, their rewards or their difficulties, and of course their experiences. Furthermore, I will also ask them a couple of questions which can maybe help you to get more information about how you can be active or how you should act within EU programs, and also what the added value for you as a company can be. First, I would like to, for the panelists to introduce themselves. Yeah, next slide is good. That they can say something about their company and also the project they worked in. And also here for this part, it counts that if you have a question, then please put that in the chat, and we will have some time after this second part to address those questions. So Alain, I want to start with you. Can you maybe say something about EcoBird and also the European project you were involved in?
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me here. So yes, just first a few words about us. EcoBird, we are a French leader on nature-based solutions as SME, specialized in wastewater treatments, and we deal with domestic wastewater, urban runoff, also industrial wastewater, mainly agri-food industry. And we work about treatment, but also reuse aspects of these materials. So we are an engineering office. We do studies, process, automatism, and programming of treatment plants. We are the technical back office for Santea, which is our mother company, and other partners. We do cost-benefit studies, mainly CapEx, OpEx reports, and we also have a research department that develops partnerships with public research bodies. And we also have the French accreditation that allows us to conduct pilot scale research programs for mainly feasibility studies for companies and bigger clients like Aéroport de Paris or other companies. And our team is about 12 people, and we currently have 6 research projects running now. And among them, we have 3 EU-funded projects. Do you want me to go to an example, like Life in Text, or?
Yes, can you give an example of a European project?
Yes, it's been 2 years that we are part of the Life in Text project. So it is about, the title is Innovative Hybrid Intensive and Extensive Treatment Technologies for Resource Recovery from Wastewater in Small Communities. So it's focused on a certain type of effluents. And the basic idea here is to have a benchmark of all available treatment technologies adapted to wastewater treatment for small communities under 2,000 person equivalent. So the project is run by Aqualia, which is a Spanish company for wastewater treatment. And we are responsible for the treatment wetlands, nature-based solutions for domestic wastewater treatment. And the overall project has up to 30 pilot scale treatment units, but it's quite bigger units, about 100 person equivalent treatment capacity. There are 2 sites in Spain, and it's, as I said, high TRL technologies. And for us, the big advantages are the benchmark approach, which allows us to compare the technologies. Also an advantage to deal with reuse aspects and also life cycle assessment. Wide comparison between technologies. What can I say? I can say also that within these projects we have relatively classical treatment system, but also we have implemented our patented technology Rhizosphere, which is a light intensification of the classical treatment wetland that is well known in France and Europe now. Is that okay for you?
Yes, sounds good. And well, I will come back to you after the 2 other presentations with a question for you. So maybe we can go to the next one. Christian Gutting from RedStack. Maybe you can introduce RedStack and also the European project you worked on within RedStack.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Christian Goeting, and I work for a Dutch company called RedStack as a technologist, and I'm involved in R&D and patent-related matters. Yeah, RedStack is a small company which develops, produces, and provides membrane stacks and process engineering for water desalination and renewable energy. And it is based on two technologies, the electrodialysis technology and the reverse electrodialysis technology. RedStack is a spin-off from VETSIS, which is the European Center of Excellence in Sustainable Energy, Water Technology, yes. And in the beginning, RedStack started with the RED technology, but after the REVIVE project, the EU REVIVE project, which I will tell later more about, we also moved into the water desalination by electrodialysis field. Quickly, a little bit more about the two technologies we develop in our company. Is first the RED electrodialysis technology, short RED, also known as Bloom energy or salinity gradient power. Basically, you can generate electricity by controlled mixing of two water streams of different salinities. So basically the driving force is the salinity gradient difference. So for instance, you need river water and seawater. For this, you need a membrane stack with ion exchange membranes, which looks quite similar to a conventional electrodialysis stack, but it has more demanding specifications. The other technology is the ED, the conventional electrodialysis technology, basically by applying a potential difference. Using a power supply, you can separate ions and create desalinated water. So in short, RedStack focuses on two market segments: reverse electrodialysis for energy generation and electrodialysis for desalination by electrodialysis. So that's about the company. Actually, I said I want to highlight a bit about the REVIVE project, which started in 2006, ended in 2020. We had experience with other EU projects like CapMix, which was also RED-based, Repower with controlled with RED with brine, RED to power with an how you say, closed loop using waste heat, and then revived water, which was about developing further the ED technology. We are still into two new projects like Interwatt and High Reward, which was just started. But as said, I want to quickly highlight the REVIVE water project because that was interesting, because it was not our core technology, and we moved from, say, a core technology into a related field. So I thought that was interesting. And another interesting point was that also a Swiss company was involved, not necessarily from the European community, and that we had pilots outside the EU in Africa and India. So that was also quite interesting. So basically this project was about three pillars: the voltaic brackish water desalination for small-scale developed countries, the integrated ED-RO seawater desalination, so basically using ED to pre-desalinate water for the RO. We had a pilot there in Burriana in Spain. It was very interesting, and RedStack especially was involved in the last one, in the multi-stage ED, which we developed on our Afsluitdijk facilities in the Netherlands. Was also seawater desalination with ED, and even also a component of RED in it. So that was our old technology. So yeah, I said we had experience with EU project, but this was different, and so we moved a bit out of our comfort zone, of the core technology. So basically, for us, REVIVE was our entry into the field of water desalination by electrodialysis. That much about the project REVIVE.
Thank you, Christian. Then also for you, I will come back to you later on with a question.
Thanks.
So last speaker in this part is Nuria Zamorano from FAXA. Maybe you can also, good morning, maybe you can also introduce FAXA and the European project you worked on, or working on, I have to say.
Yes. First of all, thanks for inviting us for this webinar. And well, as you said, we are from FACSA, a Spanish water utility. We are based in Castelló de la Plana in Spain, but we are operating in the whole country and involved in a very active form in several European projects. Most of them, well, I'm working in the innovation department as project manager, and in our case, we are collaborating in different European projects from LIFE and Horizon calls. For us, this is really interesting because we are always trying to get innovative technologies to our plants. So, for example, the opportunity of testing new developments from other technologies from other countries that might be useful for our treatment plants is one of the reasons we are involved in this kind of projects. And for example, now we are involved in the LIFE project from the environment call of 2018, which is called LIFE AMIA. In this project, we are trying to get a new combination of technologies for getting the water and being able to reuse this water in agriculture. As you know, we are in the Mediterranean region, so in here we have a big problem with water scarcity. So for us, one of the advantages of working in this kind of project is to test several new technologies for getting a high quality effluent. And also, as you know, we are moving towards a higher need of water reuse. And so, for example, in here, we are trying to upscale several technologies for tertiary treatment with advanced oxidation processes. And well, in this project in general, we are collaborating also with the public administration, since, for example, I think this is one of the best part of collaborating in this kind of projects, because at the end you try to involve all the stakeholders. So in this project, in LIFE AMIA, we have the public administration and 2 SMEs for trying to get in the water, and also it's a great opportunity for us to collaborate with other private companies, for example, that can help us to improve the monitoring of the plants. In this project, we also count with private laboratories for improving also the methodologies that we are using to monitor the plants, and also all the part of monitoring and including new sensors in the project. And also, well, as in this case, since it's a live project, we are working in a big pilot with a demonstration pilot located in Murcia of 12 cubic meters per day. In this case, we have a three-stage process. So in the first stage, we are, for example, trying to move through a less producing GHG emissions rate technology. So in this case, we are implementing an anaerobic stage for treating the water, and then that goes to a nutrient removal phase with microalgae, and then the last stage is the tertiary treatment. So that combination of 3 technologies, for example, it's interesting because we are trying to, as I was saying, to introduce new technologies and change the current situation in our plants.
Well, thank you, Nuria. Thank you all for your short presentations. Maybe to dive into the projects a little bit deeper, and also some, well, let's say general aspects, which can also be interesting for the audience if they are participating in other EU programs. Maybe to start with you, Nuria. You are, of course, a larger organization, so not, let's say, a startup or an SME. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more why for you? I think you already touched on it briefly, why it is interesting for you to work with SMEs in those innovation projects?
Yeah, as I was saying, our target are different technologies that might be developing, that might be on the last stage of developing. So, for example, for SMEs, it's interesting also to try their technologies in a different environment. So in this case, in the project I was talking about, we have 2 SMEs involved, and the 2 of them have developed different technologies. One for anaerobic treatment of the wastewater treatment plant influent, and the other one for the tertiary treatment. In this case, for us, it's a win-win situation, since we are improving the treatment, but for them, since they are based on other countries, they are they can take this as an opportunity to increase the replicability of their systems and explore new markets. Also, in this kind of projects in life, we are involved in a business plan and market evaluation altogether, all the consortia. So we are trying to study the replication of the technology and the whole combination in the whole Mediterranean region, since the pilot is based in Spain, but with that we are also exploring the new markets in other countries. So I think it's a win-win, and that will be the highlight of the collaboration with SMEs.
Thank you, Nuria. That sounds very good. A win-win, of course, for everybody. Then maybe Kristen, a question for you about the Revive project, because you are, of course, you are an SME, so that you have a different angle probably. Can you say maybe what you gained the most from being a partner in the Revive project? What was the main result for you? You are still muted.
Sorry. Yes. Well, thanks for the question. Yeah, ED had already our interest, electrodialysis, because it is an interesting market segment and uses a similar technology. But before Revived, we basically didn't have any R&D in that field. So basically, Revived enabled, well, using our existing technology and expertise for RED, the following, well, say 4 points. We learned about desalination. We developed ED stacks and IP during the project. We developed a whole pilot on multi-stage ED at our test facility in the Netherlands at the Afsluitdijk, which basically has seawater, well, yeah, wasn't seawater, but it's seawater and river water on one side. And as last, it opened the door to a new market segment, which was ED desalination. So we now even have a business developer for ED. So yes, for RedStack was this EU project very valuable.
Yeah, that also sounds very valuable. Thank you. Thank you.
If that answered your question.
Yes, definitely. I think it was a nice example what it can bring to participate in a European project for, well, let's say, a more kind of starting up company like you are.
Yeah.
Then Alan, also a question for you, of course. First of all, thank you for your presentation. And you already touched on it briefly, but maybe can you also explain in your project what were the main benefits for you to, or main results, but also maybe what were the main obstacles, hurdles in your project? Because that, of course, it always sounds beautiful to be a participant in a European project, but it's not always easy. So maybe you can also say a little bit how that was in your project.
Yes. Thank you very much. Mainly, it was good outcomes for us participating in those projects. For us, it's about scientific and technical improvements of our knowledge about our technologies, fate of pollutants, and pollution removal processes, and also more practically technical improvements and new designs and optimizations, and also yes, better knowledge and better know how to design and operate our systems. But we also have good business outcomes because it allows us to have a better visibility and have new partnerships and increase our network. And maybe more practically, it allowed us to include all members of our group, and especially our Spanish affiliate. Now, one of our patents is selling quite well in France, but we have no references. We had no references in Spain. And it allowed us to have a first reference in Spain, and also to develop the and share in the group the know-how to build these newest technologies. And if I should find some difficulties, some points to be just to tackle, some maybe difficulties were the quite heavy administrative works that we have on the setting of the project, and beware to carefully have to carefully settle the personal time budgets, especially. And once the project is launched, it requires, apart from technical aspects, a lot of time for administrative reporting, administrative and financial reporting. That's what I can say. Yes.
Yes, then thank you very much, Alan, for your answer. And also, I think this is well, for people and organizations who work in European projects, of course, not not something which they don't know, because well, a lot of organizations struggle with the administrative load in some European projects. So that's I would say one of the characteristics of certain EU programs. And in one program, it's a little bit more than in another, but this is always the case, I would say. So thank you all for this part, and great to hear your experience with EU programs, what it brought, but also what the difficulties were. And I don't see any questions for you at the moment in the chat. But again, if you have questions for Alain, Kristan, or Nuria, please ask them in the chat, and we can answer them maybe at the end of this session. So next slide, please. Because we now come to the last part of our webinar, and it's good to see that we are right on track in regards to time. So that's not always the case in webinars, so that's a win. That's good. The last part is we have 4 organizations who are now working on project IDs and are looking for international partners, maybe via European programs, and they have now the chance to tell us a little bit what they are working on, what their IDs are, and also what kind of partners they are looking for. And again, if you have questions, you now should not put them in the chat, but you should save them for the B2 match, because there you can schedule meetings with all the 4 people who will pitch, and then you can schedule a meeting with them and ask your questions there. Well, first up will be, so next slide, please. Sorry. First pitch will be from Joaquin Muria Martin, the CEO of Ingeobras. So Joaquin, if you can please turn up your camera. Yes. And hey, good morning. And well, you have around three minutes to give your pitch, so it's not a lot of time. So good luck.
I will be fast. Well, good morning. Thank all of you for taking the time to listen to me today. My name is Joaquin Muria, and I am the CEO of Ingeobras. Not seeing the presentation, please. Next slide. Okay, we are founded in 2005 as a company that carried out originally traditional engineering projects. However, we knew both from the beginning that we could go one step further, and therefore in 2013, 2014, we decided to position ourselves by focusing mainly in innovation, mainly in the water sector. So in the same year, we joined the water cluster SINAE. SINAE, it's a organization that really brought us to the innovative activity. So it took us to the next level in innovative activity. And then actually since then, around 50% of the workload of Ingeobras has been focused on developing new technologies and on carrying out R&D projects. Actually, in February 2019, Ingeobras was beneficiary of the Horizon 2020 program with an SMA instrument project called Energy. That was a project focused on wastewater treatment, but generating energy from the waste of the water. As a result of this milestone, Eurostars bets on the innovative activity completely, and we established it in July 2019, our own development center in European Business and Innovation Center of Aragon. From that moment, our innovative activity has been recognized by national and international research projects, not only in Europe, but also in some projects in South America. And we got an agreement with some strong international companies like Saint-Gobain in Europe and other two companies, one in Chile and one in Uruguay, in order to commercialize our technologies. Okay. Actually, we have recently incorporated a new business line together with Filtralite for containerized water treatment plants that is called BioBox. This new line is called BioBox. Currently, we are expanding our exciting and promising new projects, and actually we are focusing on energy from water. And one of these projects, it's BioH2. That is the project that is bringing me here. So this project seeks to mitigate climate change by generating renewable H2, renewable hydrogen through the valorization of industrial wastewater. So it is fully biological. It is not something. It is not related to electrolysis. It's fully biological. And it takes the waste from the discharge of industrial wastewater. So how we achieve this? Well, during nearly 1 year, what we have done is prove positive results with biological technology development by ourselves. So we have developed our own technology, our biological own technology, capable of transforming sugarate wastewater into hydrogen, into H2. Directly. So and now what we are doing is to we are optimizing the process. So with this project, what we want to do is to optimize the solution and to take it from the laboratory, let's say laboratory development center scale to a demonstration scale in a relevant environment. So we think it will be a very high impact technology with a lot of advantages against current green H2 production ways like electrolysis fed with solar panel. So next slide, please, if possible. In Eurostars, we'll carry out the 3 first stages. So pre-treatment, dark fermentation, and photofermentation. But it is the things where we are strong on. However, what we need is a partner for raise the purity of the gas to 95%. We need a partner for doing the innovation tasks necessary for this increasing of the purity of the gas, and this is what we are looking for, and this is why we are here. So thank you very much, and well, we will be in touch.
Yes, thank you very much, Joaquim. And I already see that our next speaker is on, so that's good. Remy Alcuye, thank you for joining. You're the general manager of Floodframe, and well, the same for you. You have around 3 minutes to deliver your project ID pitch.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Can you hear me correct?
Yes, that's great.
Okay, thanks. So good morning to everyone. My name is Remy Alcuye. I'm the general manager of Floodframe in France. Next slide, please. So Floodframe is an innovative SME established in 2 European countries, Denmark and France. And what we have invented and brought to market is a flood protection system of a very different kind from what is existing on the market. We are I think the only system that is providing a complete protection underground and above the ground and all around the building, and that is on top of this invisible. So we have deployed these systems in 3 countries, so 2 in Europe plus 1 in the US. And so far they have faced around 50 floods, both on the field and in our test facility. And they're also applicable to critical infrastructures, such as, electricity transformers, telecom stations, etc. We are still in an R&D phase for two variations of our product, one for campgrounds, mobile homes, with two prototypes already deployed. One has been deployed last week. And for historical buildings like museums who have a very strict aesthetic requirements. And because we're invisible, we can be, we can fit into these requirements. Next slide, please. So how does it work? Basically, we've taken a floating device and we've rolled around it a waterproof cloth and buried the whole thing into the ground as a perimeter protection. And so when water comes, the floating device floats just like it does at the beach. And the cloth unrolls under the force of water, and it just, the waterproof cloth just puts itself in between the building and the water. The system is patented in Europe, and the patent has been extended to US and Asia. Next slide. So which challenges are we targeting? We're talking about, of course, climate change, disaster reduction, and resilience of territories, meaning houses, critical infrastructures, museums, things that have a lot to lose in case of a flood. Our project concept would be to deploy demo sites in flood risk areas. Could be in almost every country in Europe that is concerned by the problem of floods. And we'd like to focus the project on some themes. So either focus on historical buildings, which is a very nice, and sensitive subject to protect, or critical infrastructures, or homeowners, individuals, or campsites. I mean, we can have several applications of the product, but we'd like to build a project that is focused on one theme. We're looking for partners in connection with the authorities, because flood protection is a government question in most countries, and or with some technical expertise, being in geoinformation to pull out the flood risk areas, or basin management agencies that know the problem of water and floods and how it translates on a given territory, or even some construction partners that can integrate our technology into their projects, or end user access, meaning, in some countries you have sometimes associations or clubs, or that, put together the people that are at risk in terms of flood. And so we're looking for partners who can develop this kind of network in several countries of Europe and build a project with us. Thank you. I think I've done the 3 minutes.
That was completely within the 3 minutes, Remy. Thank you for that. It was great. And also, very, very innovative and interesting product you have. But also for the Netherlands, of course, that's a very interesting innovation you have.
But Netherlands has resolved the problem of flood massively. So it's a country of water, but not so much a country of floods.
No, true. We have worked on that for decades. So you're right. Well, thank you.
In some areas of France, I met people who said, the Dutch have resolved much better than we did. So.
Thank you.
So you're known.
Yes. Then we go to the third presenter. You can already see here Fodil Ghazal, who is a business engineer at Safe Innovations. Again, Fodil, the floor is yours. You can deliver your pitch if you can turn on your camera and unmute your microphone.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning to everyone. I'm Fodil Ghazal, business engineer at Safe Innovation, and today I'm going to speak about our vision at Safe Innovation. So we can go to the next slide, please. Yes. So in line with the United Nations goals, sustainable goals, our vision at Safe Innovation is to be able to give quality water access to all the population. And to reach this vision, our mission is to be able to accelerate the transition to smart water networks through technological innovation. So the technological innovation that I'll be talking about today are on the next slide, please. Yes, so the first one is the Picogen, which is a turbine that will come on water pipe, and that will harvest hydraulic power in order to give energy to the different instrumentation that we'll find on the network for operators to be able to have a clear reading of what's happening on the networks. From this innovation, energy innovation, we have the next one, which is the smart Picogen on the next slide, please. Yes, and the smart Picogen is more like a technological platform. The idea here is that since we have the energy production through the Picogen, through the turbine, we embedded a platform that could integrate different kind of sensors. So the standard versions that we are now deploying on pilot sites have physical and chemical sensors for different measurement on the network to be able to have a clear understanding of the water resource. But the idea through this technological platform is to be able to integrate also other kind of technologies. So we can imagine bacteriological technologies, bacteriological sensors. We can imagine different treatment solution, or even valve or other kind of equipment that could be integrated to this solution. And this solution is something that we want plug and play. So the idea is to be able to install this device on the network and to have the energy needed, but also to be able to communicate the different measurements that we'll have on the network, to be able also to have energy storage, and to have a clear real-time diagnostic of what's happening on the network. So the idea, or what we're aiming for, what we're searching for European projects on the next slides, is more European project leaders that are targeting those kind of problematics on the drinking water networks, to be able to have a more sustainable water network, to transition from curative to preventive management. So this is the kind of actor we're looking for, and also technological and commercial partner to be able to increase the reach of this solution, and to be able to have maybe different project with other kind of technologies that could be integrated on this platform in order to tackle the water challenge ahead. So thank you very much, and we can keep in touch.
Odile, thank you very much for your very interesting pitch. And we come to the last pitcher of today, who is João Sousa, yes, Technology Development Lead from Park Biomaterials. So João, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Maybe we can switch already to the next slide to make a start. But I'm João Sousa, working for Park Biomaterials, which is a new company focused actually on bringing to the market a new natural polymer that could replace plastic, with the main difference that it's fully biodegradable in all environments without any release of harmful substances. So it's kind of an emerging family of polymers that is popping out right now. And what we are trying to do, what we can do actually, is to produce these polymers using waste streams, so organic waste streams. And of course, one big one is wastewater, mainly industrial wastewaters, which are very rich in organic compounds. So we can convert these organics using a natural bacteria, so bacteria that exist everywhere. We can use them to actually produce this polymer, and then basically we pick up this bacteria with this polymer inside, and we purify it in a controlled way, so that we always have a controlled quality of the polymer we can supply. As a company, we are actually a carve out from a bigger company. So we worked, all of us, and this development was already in the making for over 10 years within a bigger company called PAC, who is a global technology provider for industrial wastewater treatment, focused on biogas production and also biogas treatment, for example. But once we started developing this technology, it was clearly that the business model of the big company would not fit the difference. So selling energy is very different from selling a polymer. So we clearly saw that there's way more work to do on the supply chain. So therefore, in 2021, there was a decision to start a new company and actually make them fully independent. So this new company, Pax Biomaterials, is fully independent from the company Pax, even though we do collaborate with each other. So we brought a lot of the experience from this field into the new company, and also these 10 years of development and 7 patents on this process that we start with. And we are also running a demonstration plant in the Netherlands and trying to expand their activities. So if you go to the next slide. So what are we really trying to target? The challenges we're trying to target is basically the microplastic pollution. So we actually produce a polymer that does not have this problem. It can be used as a plastic and without any microplastics release because they will be fully consumed by bacteria in the environment. And of course, we are transitioning to a circular economy. So we use a waste stream to produce a higher value material. So this fits exactly within the circular economy concept, and we can use industrial wastewater. We can use solid organic waste. We also collaborate with the Dutch water board authorities to actually produce it from, for example, secondary sludge from wastewater treatment plants or primary sludge. So we have different options there. And the project that we want to implement is basically to develop this whole supply chain. So from the waste to actually the product using the polymer and even its use. And we are also focusing a lot on industrial wastewaters because that's also a bit of our core expertise on how to deal with these industries. So I talk about paper, starch, breweries, beverages, other food industries, ethanol industry, very diverse group. Up to the applications, which for now we focus mostly on agricultural or construction kind of applications, also because you don't really require food grade approval, which is could accelerate our path to the market. So we try to focus on applications in this type of fields. Like, for example, mulch films. You have a lot of plant clips and plastics that are used in agriculture. So we try to, for example, replace them because a lot of them end up in the soil. So even though you try to recycle, they will always end up in the soil part of it. So you always have a leakage. So we look into basically partners within this supply chain. So we're talking about industries with wastewaters, but also people on the application side that require biodegradable polymers for their own applications because they see the need, they see the customer requests, and also, of course, regulation is becoming harder and harder in that sense. So we really try to work with these type of partners. So if you have any interest in this, just let us know.
Yes, thank you very much, João. Very interesting also, and I think very fitting also with a lot of European programs which are live at the moment. I think it's a good fit. Yeah, well, these were the four pitches, and well, I already saw in the chat that connections are being made. So that's also really what we're trying to do today, and also what we're trying to establish after this webinar in the B2Match platform, which you all register. So if you have a question for João or one of the other pitches or presenters of today, you can, of course, reach out to them via the B2Match platform and schedule meetings with them. This was let's say the 3 parts of this webinar. So we are good on time. And for the last, let's say, words of this webinar, I want to give the floor to Marissa Fernandez, who is the cluster manager of the cluster Zinai. So Marissa, well, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Stefan. And thank you very much for the companies of these 4 companies for doing these pitches. As Stefan mentioned, was very interesting. But now, if you want to know more about their proposals, you know that also, as Stefan mentioned, you have open until the 28th of June the B2B meetings and the B2Match tool. So all of you are registered already, so you know that you can apply for having meetings with almost 80 participants in this B2Match, and then you will have the opportunity to know more about the proposals that were presented today, and other companies and research centers that also are participating in this tool. Also, you know that it's possible also speak with other with potential cooperation partners via this virtual platform, but also it's possible to have this marketplace to show and find opportunities for project collaboration, but also to show your expertise and also to show your concrete request. So please, we really enhance you to use this marketplace also to show and to find opportunities for collaboration. And I want just to bring an example of one of our members that in one of these matchmaking events, they find that it was an SME, but for Spain, one of our members, and find a consultancy, a company from Finland, and now they have integrated in this company, and they have the possibility to reach other countries in Europe. So we have success stories of the result of these matchmaking tools. So is the result of these meetings is that you want to meet physical or visit any installation of the other SMEs or research center or visit a project result, then also we are carrying out the Blues project. It's a COSME project that funds exchange for 3 full working days for SMEs and support the SMEs with support with around 400 euros also for the traveling expenses. If you are interested in that, please contact us, because around this for this year still we have funding available for support SMEs in doing these exchanges. Also, just to finish this webinar today, I just want to mention that you have please save the date for the next edition of the Winning Days of the Water Innovation Networking Days that will take place the 21st of September. This time, the next time is going to be a face-to-face meeting that it will take place during the European Water Technology Week that will be in Leeuwarden in September, from the 19th to the 22nd of September. So set the date. The next Winning Days event will be a face-to-face meeting the 21st of September. Thank you very much for all of you, all the speakers, for the participation, all of you for your attendance and for your time with us. Thank you very much for my colleagues, for the other clusters and the organization, and especially to Stefan for the moderation. Thank you very much. We are going to send you the presentations of the speakers. We are going to send you also a questionnaire, because we want to know your opinion and also to get ideas to improve for the next editions of the Winning Days. So thank you very much again to the speakers and all of you for being here, and see you in the next time in Leeuwarden. I don't know, maybe I think there was some questions in the chat before closing.
There was one question regarding the Blues Exchange. I don't know if you want to answer that right now. The question is about, like, is it really considered as a platform for connecting people?
Yeah, it's so you have to think that there are 3 full days, so or full day working days. No? So you have to be clear. You need a host organization where you are going to just have clear. No, you have to do a previous work to know with who you want to do this change. So you need a host that will have you can show you, I don't know, the result of the project, the some installations, so you can talk about future collaborations. Yeah, you can use to build a future relation with another company, but you need a previous work. And this for this is important, this match making, not to maybe identify it in the first place who could be interesting. And when you are working already online, no, with in this knowing maybe another company or a research center that you want to know more about them, then the Blues Exchange could help you to for the traveling to be 3 days working together, no? So, but just if you have interest, just please contact us and we will support you with more detailed information.
Thank you, Marisa. That was the only question on the chat.
Okay, then we finish the webinar. Thank you very much. And please use the matchmaking tool or the B2Match during these days until the 28th of June. Thank you.